Welcome to Crafty Corner. In tonight's episode, we're going to learn all about the different stitches to use in plastic canvas. This stitch, this one right here.
Welcome to Tuesday Night Live.
I love it. Oh, that was so freaking awesome.
Wrong channel.
So that was my wife, Jessica. Let's give her a hand. Thank you.
Yeah. 3 points. 3 points. That was so cool. I love it.
I had to do something to one up last week. That was that was a real winner of walking away and leaving you wondering what the heck. Guys, if you missed it, go check out the last Tuesday Night Live and you'll be able to see what we're talking about because this one is better.
That was so
Thank
cool.
You.
That was awesome. I loved it. She's great.
Kevin Myers says, Eric, you have changed.
A better look.
Well, more hair.
Yeah. Like I said, better.
So tonight we have Oscar Gomez, who is down in the corner, formerly down in the corner.
Oh.
Sir not appearing in this picture. Don't worry. He'll be back. This is one of those Tuesday Night Lives where it's going to be interesting.
California.
We're gonna have him back. Apparently, too many people turned on their air conditioner and plugged in their EVs in California.
Yeah.
Yes, that was an EV joke.
It's the
For
truth.
any of the EV fans out there, I'm
Yeah.
not going to say anything because that just gets me some people get all butthurt, but
We'll get over it.
Zach made it. Zach, did you catch the fantastic intro? You probably missed it. You're going to have to go back and watch the first minute on replay. Trust me, it was worth it. It was hilarious. You just got to do it.
Zach was too busy with the tech support line. He couldn't.
That's right. Oh, that's right. Let's kill a minute here while we're waiting for Oscar to come back on. Marv,
Yes, sir.
buddy old pal, tell us about some amazing things we've got going on with the Mechanic Alliance. And here's Oscar.
Oh my gosh, we have so many great things going on. We met with our team today, Bobby Huntley and Zach Zelenak, who are heading up our technical training or technical I'm thinking training. I'm in the training mode with Aaron and that. What's that?
Technical support group.
Technical support group, which is hands in with training. So yeah, we met with them. We got those two. We're launching that program. We also launched today, as you saw a little bit ago, regions for technical trainers. So we have a lot going on. A lot of guys wanting to already work with us. We got one out of Nevada. We got one out of Oregon. We'll vet them, go through that process. But we're here. Mechanics help mechanics. And so we're excited about all the stuff. So this is what we're about.
Fantastic.
Whew,
And we've got Matthew Dela Cruz popping up from the Facebook world that I can see from StreamYard. And our group is live over on this screen because I don't see comments there. So I know we got the normal group of guys. We got the Kevin Myers. We got Zach Zelenak. One-arm Zach at the moment. Needs a left-hand man because he's got his right hand. Thank you, Zach, for that joke earlier. Yes, I promised I was going to use it. And even the infamous F. Bobby Huntley is here. Anyways, as you can see, straight down, we got Oscar Gomez. Oscar, give us an intro while we have you here and you're actually working.
Right before the internet goes out. Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Oscar Gomez. Like I let everybody know, I'm on a mission to better the automotive industry one technician at a time. And this starts with you or anybody who is around me. A little bit of about my backstory is the automotive industry wasn't something that.
Apparently, the automotive industry wasn't something that was going to keep the internet running.
It left him.
Oh, he's tried everything too. He's tried his phone. He's tried his internet. He's tried it all, and it keeps dumping him out.
Don't worry, Zach. He'll be back. I promise. We may have to do this, interview 5 minutes at a time. And guys, at this rate, I promise we'll have him back on as long as he's willing, provided we didn't scare him off.
Yeah. We'll be done by midnight.
Likely.
Eastern time. No, Hawaii time.
Hawaii time.
Oh, that's too bad. He'll come back on. Oh my gosh. Anyway, Zach can fill in a little bit. I know that what is it, Bobby, with people having bad internet? The difference on this one is this man is in California. We told him to unplug his EV so his internet would work. Oh my God.
We're not going to let that joke go. I promise.
No, not at all. Not at all. Well, come on. You're in the middle of California. You can't get internet. I get it where Zach's having that problem out in his area, but even then he told me today that Starlink went up and he's right in the dead zone between those two Starlinks. He can't win. He freaking can't win, the poor sucker. I mean, one arm, no internet. Oh my gosh. Oh, poor Oscar.
And thanks for being a good sport, Zach.
Yeah, I know that Zach has, and he can in the live chat put some stuff. Zach has taken training from him, if I remember right, Zach. And if that is, maybe you can kind of expand on that while he's trying to get his stuff going. But for what we've seen, it's a great program that enhances what we do because a lot of it is ASE stuff for the majority of it. So that's what we're looking for, pieces that will blend in with what we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Oscar's focus, from what I understand, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, tends to be on the ASEs and the California smog. I almost called it something else there for a moment because, it's California. Sorry, Californians. We love you anyways. Your weather is fantastic, and we're glad to have you here.
Yeah.
Eric, you might pull up Oscar's website.
I might actually do that. Let me see if I can do that. Master Automotive.
I like Bobby. What Bobby says, okay, so we've got someone in Cali and someone in Texas, two of the biggest states in the union, and they can't get internet. Zach says he follows Oscar on YouTube, not gotten formal training, but he's a fantastic trainer for what he's seen. And that's, of course, we only deal with the best, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I got his website pulled up, and we may not have him live right here. That's not what I wanted. I don't want to be big. Share screen. Share screen. Yes, I know it's best done with two screens. StreamYard has to remind me every time. Share.
There you go.
So we may not have Oscar with us right this second, but we have a 1 minute and 21 second clip that's every bit as good as what we can do here. But the problem is you're not going to get any audio because my microphone here and stuff. So we're just going to pretend Oscar is talking and telling us about all the great things that Master Automotive Training does. I'm stalling, guys.
So sign language.
He talks with his hands.
Yeah.
He must be part Italian.
He must be. He must be.
So anyways, let's at least go over the Master Automotive Training while I keep my eye on the StreamYard. What are we calling it? The guest list, and wait for him to pop up. Because we've got the infamous About Us, who we are. Master Automotive Training is one of the leading providers of technical training for automotive technicians. Right there with us, of course, because we do technical training too. So, we're the best because it's our show.
Absolutely.
So they're in Southern California. I know that he does a lot of, outreach stuff for profits and things going to those that really need it and people that genuinely deserve the funding to be able to do the things that they want to do. So their mission is they're committed to bringing the best education to anyone with a burning desire to become the best automotive technician through innovative, professional, and up-to-date automotive courses. And absolutely true. Oscar does have some of the most up-to-date stuff that I've seen. And, the guy's good. And believe me, we're not going to be touting too many other training sources out there, but Oscar's is definitely one that is worth talking about. And we have Oscar back.
Woohoo! Hey, sorry about that, guys. I guess I'm gonna have to do without video for now.
That's okay. We can hear you. I was just we were killing time, so I've got your website pulled up, and we were just looking at stuff.
Awesome. Appreciate that, guys.
So, anyways, now that you're back, you can give us a quick intro, or continue with the intro of who you are, what you do, and the amazing stuff that you bring.
Absolutely. I really appreciate you guys having me on here tonight. I do apologize for the little technical errors that got going on my end.
It just means we'll have to have you back on sometime.
Absolutely. Yeah. We'll do a round two. I always say technology is great, but then once it fails, man, life goes crazy.
To err is human. To really screw up takes a computer.
When a computer asks you if you're a bot, right?
Yeah.
Are you a
Oh
bot?
man. Well, like I was saying, for me, it's always bettering the automotive industry one technician at a time, and this is something that I put into practice a while back now when I was privileged enough to be mentored by some great individuals, and the only thing they asked from me was to always pay it forward. My story is actually pretty crazy because I didn't choose the automotive industry; it kind of chose me. Growing up in a household where both my parents were immigrants here to the U.S., and we were always taught that you gotta work, and no matter what, you gotta be working, you gotta do something. And my dad would always tell us that we needed to be better than him. So the only thing I knew was, hey, well, everybody else says go to college, get a degree, and do something with life. So I took that route, went to college for about 6 months, and it took me 6 months to figure out that I was not college material. And at that point, I went back to what I knew how to do, which was go to the shop. So I started off at the shop, and I was your normal service guy, oil change, brakes, and if it was anything that fell out of that scope, then it wasn't going to me because I had no idea what I was doing. And I was lucky enough to have one of the guys there at the shop say, hey, you know what? If you really like this and you want to learn, I'll show you. The only thing is you just got to put some time into it. And I was about 18 years old at the time. And I said, hell, what I got to lose? And he started showing me, some of the basic diagnostic stuff, some of the basic electrical checks. And at that point, here in the state of California, we have emissions testing. So he says, why don't you go get your smog license? And I had no idea what that was. And I said,
No. Come back,
Yeah.
Oscar.
Oscar, you went away.
I hear a plane flying over somewhere.
As you can see, I mean, his passion already is in the industry of passing it forward, which I love. That's what I loved about him when I first met him.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, he is about bettering everything. So,
can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, you were just telling us about you were getting ready to head out to get your smog license for the emissions testing and stuff in California.
Awesome. Perfect. So I go out and get my smog license, and then I get a phone call from my instructor, who I consider my mentor, Mr. Don Wilson. And he says, hey, you know what? You ever thought about teaching? And I laughed on the phone because it never crossed my mind. And he says, if you're willing to learn, I'm willing to teach you. And I said, shit, what do I got to do? And he says, come down 2 days a week and I'll teach you. I gave up 2 days out of the week for about a year and a half under his mentorship. He pushed me to get my ASCs. I signed up for my written exam with the state of California, took that, passed it. And then after that, I did a presentation to a board here in the state of California. And right after my 21st birthday, I actually got licensed as a instructor here in the state of California. And it just escalated from there. Immediately after I got licensed, the shop that I was working at, our lead tech quit. So I walk in after lunch and they pull me in the office. So you guys usually know what that means. Is either I screwed up or I'm getting fired, or I did both, right? So right after lunch, they pull me into the office and the owner says, hey, well, our lead tech quit. So congratulations, you're promoted. And here's a Chevy Astro van that's a crank no start. Figure it out and let me know what's wrong with it. So everything just went from I'm just a follow-up guy to you're our last hope. And
you're our only hope, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Exactly. I'm the only hope for the shop at that point. So I had to pretty much just grab what I knew and started going from there. Once I actually started applying everything that I was taught by my mentor, Don, I felt how easy it was to actually diagnose, pull up a lab scope, look at live PIDs, and see how putting the puzzle pieces together, like Brandon Steckler says, just leads you in the right direction on what you need to do. And I saw it so easily that I was like, dude, people need to know this. So in the complex that I was at, there was a lot of repair shops. So I would always try to talk to these guys, and they would just blow me off. Like, oh, what do you know? You're just a kid, blah, 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 blah. And then I was like, cool, if you don't want to learn, that's fine with you. And when I started working as an instructor, I started seeing how a lot of these guys actually I need to do now is I need to make sure that anything I do within this industry is going to help better it. And it's been a great ride ever since. As of right now, just this year, I think I've certified somewhere around 100 plus students. Just in my last class, I had 13 students, of which 8 of them are now ASC certified. And I believe so much in the program that we teach and the information I teach. And I believe so much in my students that if they take and pass an ASC, I'll reimburse them the test fee, because I want to make sure that they just don't learn the material, but they know how to apply it. Plus, they also increase their value as technicians out on the field. And by doing so, collectively, I help better the automotive industry by that one technician. So I'm really happy to be part of this industry. I love this industry. It's been a great ride for me. In my 30, I think I'm 33 now or 34, somewhere around there. So in all these years, it's been really great to me. And I want to share with everybody who wants to learn and be better in this industry how there's always an opportunity to do so. And it's not just all about turning wrenches. That's back in the day where they considered this industry just blue collar. I get it. It is blue collar, but there's a lot more than just, hey, I need a 10 mil to take this off. And if you can learn those differences between a mechanic and a tech, you can definitely increase your value as a tech and help yourself become part of those high earning technicians instead of a average mechanic.
Absolutely. So, by the way, you said 2 words that blew up the chat bleachers.
Uh-oh.
Astro van.
Beautiful. You guys remember those?
Remember them. Heck, half the chat bleachers have them still.
Oh, shit. Oh, man, I hated those vans.
Oh, don't say that. Them's fighting words in the chat bleachers at the moment. We got a bunch of guys that absolutely love those things.
Oh, because when we get them here for California, we got to take the doghouse off or the engine cover for smog inspections. Those things are horrible.
Oh, no, I totally derailed it, but I'm watching the chat bleachers over here, and that was hilarious to see. And I got one of those. Love it. I won't part with it for the world. I guess, when it's your own scuzz, you're more willing to work with it, right, guys?
Absolutely.
So, anyways, back to business. Just had to bring that up because it was fun. Yeah, I mean, it absolutely. I mean, we've got comments of, it's nice, it's good to see this level of passion, this fire for the industry, especially with as young as you are. And frankly, it's not very often we have a guest who's younger than me.
At least I kind of remembered my age. The other day, I had a student ask me how old I was, and I just drew a blank. I actually had to sit there and calculate it real quick. Like, I didn't remember how old I was. Oh, I think I need a reflash.
Yeah, just go grab that trusty Autel and update. So we have a question coming from. I got to come back and find it. It was from Travis Schroer. He asks, how much do you have on the J2534? Granted, I have no idea what that is, so I'm hoping you do.
So the J2534 is going to be our pass-through device that we use for programming. I would say I'm not an expert level. I'm more of the middle range. I haven't done any crazy stuff with it, just your basic reprograms. The last one I did was a valve body on a Ford using the FJDS, so the aftermarket Ford software. If somebody's looking for one, I would definitely recommend the Cardac 3. That's the one that has the highest amount of manufacturer certifications. So they'll actually give you support if you get stuck with a specific manufacturer versus if you use another brand that's probably not covered by the manufacturer, then that just makes it that much more difficult for the end user or the technician to be able to get some support.
Sure. So Travis comes back and says specifically on programming empty modules and ADAS.
On the ADOS, so I'm not 100% confident in teaching ADOS at the moment. I have very little exposure with it, and it's not something that I've actually studied and applied as of yet. So I can't really share much on the ADOS. I know there's a lot of good technology behind it, the cameras, the LiDAR and radar and all that fun stuff, but anything I would probably mention I'd probably be speculating, since I really haven't touched that subject. So I apologize on that, Travis. And what was the part 2 on that one, Eric?
Specifically on programming empty modules.
So empty modules, are you referring, Travis, to used modules or white box modules from an auto parts house, or directly from OE manufacturers?
We'll find out in just a minute. We have like a 7-ish second delay between StreamYard and Facebook. So we'll give him just a moment. He'll pop back up with something, I'm sure. Okay. He says, that's fair. I'm looking for a training program to send to Tech 2.
What area?
Travis is in Oklahoma, I believe.
Great. So you're going to go down, Travis, you're going to go down to Tulsa, and you're going to talk to a good friend of mine, Keith Perkins. He's going to be your go-to guy for ADOS, and he's probably the guru when it comes to computer reprogramming.
He says he is near Tulsa, so that works out great. Travis, I hope you caught all that. Keith Perkins, there's some more information. By all means, Oscar's in the group. Just search for him. He'll pop up. Shoot him a message, and I'm pretty sure he'll get you all the specifics you need as far as who to talk to and how to get in touch with him.
And
absolutely.
On some of those classes that he isn't on, because he'll tell you more about what his specialty is and what he's been doing. That's where we have Aaron now is on with us, Aaron Marion. We are developing those classes, and you ask, we will present that.
Beautiful. I love that.
So tell us more about the class situation and what you're doing out there, students and cost, and what's your number one class that you sell out there?
So my number one class that actually is our top producer for Master Automotive Training is our Smog Inspector course. This course is designed around the California licensing exam to become an emissions inspector. And then followed up by my number 2 class, which is my diagnostics class. In this class, I cover automotive electrical, engine performance, 5-gas analysis, and then I also prepare you for the state exam. So here in the state of California, you're able to, by examination, pass and then receive a license that allows you to do emission repairs. And then also you'll be a licensed repair technician here in the state of California. So in that class, I cover the A8, A6 material, and all my students who take that class are actually required as part of the course to take the ASE, A6 and A8. And upon passing them, then I write them a check for the test fee. So this way, not only do they learn the information they need to diagnose electrical faults, electrical issues, engine performance issues, but they're also going to leave ASE certified. So in the near future, they're going to have those certifications that are going to show their value as techs, not just a class that they took.
Yeah, Oscar, you said something there that I think is important that you kind of glossed over, and people on the broadcast may not think about. You know, as you stated, in the state of California, you have to be a licensed repair technician. Okay. Now, I believe California and New York are the only 2 states that require that now. But as we've seen in past history, things like that end up propagating across the whole country. So, you guys be prepared. I give a 80% chance that that's coming to your area as well.
Most definitely. And I've actually seen California and particularly New York kind of replicate when it comes to automotive laws. So if one does something, the other will follow pretty quickly.
Okay, that's an interesting correlation, but without getting too far into the nitty gritty, I can see the similarities in their legislature to do things like that. I'm just going to leave it at that because I don't want to make anybody too mad here.
I lost you guys for a sec. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we can.
Perfect.
Great. Yeah, so I'm guessing, I'm speculating, Bobby, you're talking about specifically the California Smog class, just for general knowledge. Travis comes back and says that he'd send new guys to California for smog training in New Mexico when he was in New Mexico, and they always came back with a ton of additional knowledge. So I'm assuming there's a whole bunch of drivability things and all sorts of diag stuff, not being particularly familiar with what goes on in that certification myself.
So explain to us what that type of training would be then. Basically the same stuff that you're teaching out there, Oscar, I guess, for the boys in New Mexico. We lost him.
Yep, he's temporary hold, weather hold. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after a message from our sponsors, if we had any.
Rain delay.
Rain delay.
This is where that Coke commercial comes across with the popcorn.
Maverick, Adventure's first stop.
Is he back?
Maverick, call me.
No, it's Bucky's down this way.
Oh, well, whatever. It's all
Oh,
good.
yeah, that's a big one. That's their really big stores out there. No, we lost him again. Yeah, Zach's saying I'd like to go to his 5-gas class. You know, that, man, there's some boys I knew back when that it came to 5-gas. They hooked that bad boy up like we were with secondary, and they could tell a lot about what's going on. Definitely a great class. Hey, they even like your mug, Eric.
Yeah, it's one of the 100-ounce mugs that, this one's a little old. It's got some, the lid broke with the mismatched lid. It's got a spare tire on the bottom, so it's actually rubberized, so it doesn't slide around. Put it on an incline, it doesn't go anywhere because, let's face it, you tip this guy over, it's going to flood the world.
Does that go in the El Camino with you when you go down the track?
No, I have to leave that behind. Otherwise, it'd wind up in the hidey hole of the smuggler's box. G-Body El Camino guys will understand that one. Oh, let's see here. Kevin says that my wife should have worn the Viking hat when she kicked off the show.
Oh, and Travis is saying, to be clear, they didn't exactly go to Oscar, but they had the same type of training. But again, training's a training you need to get to that point. That's what is the important part of it, right? Is getting the things to make you better, to advance you and the shop that you're at, of course. So
it looks like if he did a traveling 5-gas class, he would probably be able to fill it up everywhere he goes around the country.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
I'm glad to hear those things coming back, because for me, when I was heavily in the diagnostic training before I went to corporate America, those were the things we talked about back then, right, Dave? We were lab scopes, we were 5-gas, we were secondary. Then it kind of went away, and now it's coming back, which I love.
Yeah, you posted that. You posted that scope the other day.
Yeah. Some memories.
I had 2 of those.
I know. We knew how to use them too, and they worked for us. And they weren't digital. They were analog, so you had to look real quick.
Watch the needles move.
Yeah. He's back. Oscar, the great, the fabulous.
The one, the man, the myth, the legend. So, by the way, in the chat bleachers while you were away, it looks like if you wanted to take your 5-gas class on the road, you could do it.
Absolutely. I love using a 5-gas analyzer. I got lucky enough that when I started
the technical side of my career was when carburation was finally going out and fuel injection was just starting. So I got to use the big box scopes. I got to use a 5-gas, 4-gas, and I think that has helped me substantially when it comes to diagnosing and drivability because of the abilities of being able to use a 5-gas analyzer, not just for state inspections, but for diagnostic ability. So I would definitely recommend if you guys have access to a 5-gas, use it. It's a great tool if you know how to properly use it.
Let's see here. Any other bits and pieces I missed in the chat bleachers while you were gone? Anyways. Nope. Back to normal.
Before I cut out, I know I overheard Marvin say something about New Mexico, and then it just died.
Yeah, I think we got that taken care of. It was regarding the the 5-gas and some of the things that some of the guys have had some training for 5-gas and that out there. So I think we answered that one.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Travis is asking, how much is a 5-gas analyzer? And a quick Google search says a 4-gas is $108 on Amazon.
No, you want
a 5-gas.
Sure. You want a 5-gas. So we're lucky enough, I guess you could call it lucky, that we're required to have a 5-gas analyzer as an emission station here in California. So our monthly lease on a 5-gas analyzer is about $450 a month, but that includes service on the machine. If you guys aren't an emission station, I would definitely look at ATS with Bernie Thompson. He makes a good 5-gas analyzer that's mobile. If not, Snap-on. I know some of you guys don't like Snappy, but Snap-on makes a really good 5-gas. I think it's in like the $3,500 range. And that's usually where they're going to be, around $2,500 to $3,500. If you do buy a big box one like we use inside the emission shops, you're looking upwards of like $20,000, which you don't need unless you're going to be doing emissions testing.
Here's the ATS Tools IGA5 Intelligent Gas Analyzer for $54.95. Ouch.
And that one gives you lambda, so it's also going to calculate your lambda value, so you're going to know if you're in fuel control or not, so you don't actually have to pull numbers and then run a calculation.
All right, well, I'm just going to copy this link and drop it into the chat bleachers because that's something that we're talking about. So, guys, this is not an affiliate link. I wish it was, but, they're in the chat bleachers now. There's a 5-gas analyzer, the ATS, that does the lambda. So that's kind of cool. Don't want to swing that price tag, but that's kind of cool.
Yeah. It's one of those tools that if you're not really doing it a lot or really know it, it's not worth the investment unless you are going to be doing a lot of emission diagnosing or repairs.
Right. Yeah, just going down the list, they run $5,400. Yeah, that's about the going rate on those guys.
Yeah, so see there, it's like, do I buy a Alta Ultra or do I buy a 5-gas analyzer? So techs are gonna have to make that call at that point.
Yeah, that's
Or you could go $100 down and then $100 a week for the rest of your life with Snap-on.
I got this toolbox. I've been doing it $100 a week for 50 years. It's finally mine. Hinges are rotten off.
So if you're talking about your efficiency and you're talking about buying the equipment, it should be making you the money anyway. So it really doesn't matter. It's the guys that buy the stuff and don't charge for the diagnostics or incorporate it into them. They're the ones that are losing. You don't give that away. That's a payment people pay for. You stick that tube in the back of the exhaust, and there's a cost. That's just the way it is.
Right.
Bobby says, keep an eye out for shop auctions. You might be able to score one.
Very true. I completely forgot about that. That's right.
Bobby's our resident eBay hound. If there's a great deal, he can find it.
There you go. I love eBay. It's just I hate the waiting part. So when I can avoid, if Amazon has it for like $80 more, I'll go eBay and then wait a couple of weeks to get it.
This is true. Time is money because there's no telling how much money you might be able to make in that time while you wish you had it and you have it.
That's right. That's very true.
Oh, let's see here. I guess Kevin's got one of those big old antique sun machines.
Oh, nice. The
Part
one
of his
with
antique collection.
with the scope on it still?
He may reply back. We'll find out.
Probably a 4
All
gas.
right. Yeah, because I actually got trained when I got my emissions license on a Sun Scope 5-gas analyzer. Thing was a monster, but that's what I got trained on.
That is awesome.
It works.
So, anyways,
Definitely.
let's shift this into an interesting direction. Where do you see the automotive industry heading? What's your
Ooh.
crystal ball tell us? Oh, hold on. Zach has a I'm assuming that's a Volkswagen Audi group or auto group question on 5-gas. Zach, let me go back and find it, or you retype it. Do you have an online 5-gas class? No, I don't think that it is.
I do have a one that I pre-recorded on YouTube. It's a little bit over an hour, and it just touches the basics on 5-gas.
Sorry, Zach, I can't go back far enough in the chat bleachers to get to your question. I'm sorry, I don't remember what it was, and I can't find it. So while Zach painstakingly retypes his question that I was supposed to ask you and screwed up, Zach, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Where do you see the automotive industry headed? Let's bring it back on track for a moment.
So the way I see it now, it's basically gonna, with the next couple of years, because it's already showing its true colors, it's gonna start taking the guys out who don't want to continue learning out relatively quickly. We're seeing it now where car comes in and we can't, our shops and techs can no longer do the old swap parts trick, or swaptronics, what some of us call it, or the old parts cannon trick, because a lot of these parts actually have to be relearned and coded to the vehicle. So I'm seeing a big change in some technicians' mentality, and to me, it's not scary, because I saw this when I got in the industry, where a lot of the older veterans were like, I'm done with this. I don't want this electronic stuff. It's scarier and blah, blah, blah. And they just left because they wanted to work on carburetors and points and condensers and stuff. So I'm kind of seeing that now, where the guys who do want to learn are actually looking ways to better themselves, learn about VVTi, VVT, GDI, and the new subsystems that are coming out with vehicles, because if you're not up to par on those, that's just going to basically weed you out relatively quickly. We're also seeing, I also foresee that even though a lot of us gearheads don't really like the electrical stuff, it's on its way in. So we need to make sure that any technician who wants to continue in this field gets up to par with electricity yesterday, because by the time most people catch up with electrical, they're already going to be in your bay. And that's what causes a lot of frustration with techs. And I make a joke out of this every time I teach an oscilloscope class, because these guys have the most expensive paperweight at the shop sitting on their toolbox, which is a scope or scanner sitting in a dust-covered box in the back of their toolbox, and they only grab it once they tried everything they know and it didn't work. So now they're frustrated, pissed off, and now they're going to go grab a tool they haven't used in 6 months, try to power it up and charge it. It's going to need a bunch of updates. They're still mad and frustrated. Now they're getting even more mad and frustrated. And then by the time they finally get that thing powered up an hour later, they're on YouTube scrambling, trying to figure out how to plug this thing up. And then once they see something on the screen, they have no idea what it is, because they're not even using it. So then they're still back to square one, but now they're like, oh, this $4,000 tool is trash. Sorry, sir. That's your problem, not the tool. The tool doesn't make the tech. The tech needs to know how to use that tool. So I see that a lot, and I kind of giggle at it, because I used to be in that spot where the scope was really the last thing I was ever going to use. And then by the time I decided to use it, I was so pissed off because I didn't know how to use it, and I would blame the tool instead of myself. And once I actually learned how to use a tool, and most importantly, once I learned and understood Ohm's law, you can actually dissect a waveform from any scope without even knowing if that's a good waveform or not. Why? Because if you understand Ohm's law, you understand how that waveform is going to change depending on resistance or anything within that actual circuit. And that's how I teach my scope classes. It's you got to dumb it down to those basics, because what I tell my students, there's no such thing as advanced level. It's just mastering the basics. So in my advanced classes, all I teach you is the basics over in a different way, and then everybody's like, "Oh man, that was great." It's like you realize that was a basic class, right? So that's what I foresee it, is that everybody needs to step up their game yesterday with Ohm's law and electrical and safety. More than anything is safety. If you're talking about hybrid vehicles, you're pushing 240 volts. You screw up any which way, shape, or form, that could be the last car you ever touch physically.
Yeah.
Because spiritually, you'll be gone at that point. So
Yeah.
I want to let everybody know, make sure that you guys are up to par on hybrids. It's not as complicated as we make it seem, because as technicians, we're very, very good at overcomplicating stuff. And that's just who we are. It's just, that's what I share with my students, is as technicians, we're visual kinesthetic learners. We got to see it and do it to learn it. So it's just natural to us to make shit harder than what it really is. So always keep it super simple, and make sure you always go back to the basics, is what I always say.
You heard it here. Lab scope, lab scope, lab scope. Keep in mind, we have a lab scope class coming up very soon with Aaron. Marion is going to be instructing that one. Not to take anything away from you, but that's just an offer we've got coming up. Anyway, I have Zach's question pulled up.
All right. What you got for me?
Zach is asking about online coding and channel interpretation for the VAG cars. Do you train for this? If not, where can he go?
I don't. Keith touched a little bit on it, because I just took Keith's programming class in March. So he touched on it a bit. And on the Euro side, is it the RAP? Or I think it's AutoLogic. If you're doing a lot of Euro VAG, I would recommend AutoLogic. Their tablet does very well, and then if you get stuck during any part of the programming, they'll actually come in virtually to your tablet and then kind of man it and take it over. And if you're looking for specific service information you don't have, they'll actually provide it for you. Not that I want to sell their tool or anything, but those are some of the cool perks of the tool. It's just really stupid expensive to have.
And what tool was that again?
I want to say it's the AutoLogic.
Okay. Just making sure we make that perfectly clear, so that way it's out there for in perpetuity.
Yep.
Oh, let's see here. Travis says 660 volts on some of those hybrids in a few of them.
You gotta wear your lineman gloves, class 0 or 00, and make sure you guys have 2 pairs. Because I had a student not too long. Well, he's actually in my class now. He works for Hyundai, and what I told him is, you guys need 2 sets of gloves because you got to be rotating them. He's like, well, "What do you mean? I thought it was 1." I said, "No, every 6 months you got to ship them off to get recertified, and they got to have a new date stamp on them." And so you got to have 2 pairs. So what I do is I have a red pair, an orange pair, and a black pair, and I'll ship one off while the one's getting certified. I'm using the other set, and then once I get my new set back, once my 6-month mark is up, I'll open the bag, I'll use the new ones, and then I'll ship off the other ones for certification. So you always got to have 2 sets, so you guys can be recycling them.
Wow, I never would have thought of that. But there again, I play with carburetors most of the time. If it doesn't have a carburetor, I usually don't want to mess with it. So, yeah, I'm stuck.
You know what? I miss my carburetor days. Surprisingly, I actually got to do a lot of carburetor rebuilds in my early years, so I miss those days. Those days were fun.
What's your carburetor of choice?
I want to say the Edelbrock 4-barrel.
The 14 series, the copy of an ancient Carter.
Yeah, yep.
I'm a Q-Jet guy deep down, so.
Me too.
Nice. Nothing wrong with the Q-Jet.
Love the Q-Jet. When you get them working right, those things flat out work.
They used to call them quadro junk at the shop, but I love them. They were the first ones with mixture control solenoids, TPSs. Those things were fun.
Yep, I just took one of those off my Buick Regal to put one on that didn't have that stuff.
Hey! In California, that would be highly illegal.
That's why I'm not in California. And by the way, Bobby says, "Boo, Holly." Don't worry, Bobby. I've got a 4150 on my El Camino. Nothing hits the tires like the mechanical secondary Holly.
Yeah, bring your
That's right.
toolbox though. You'll always need it. You don't
Can't
need that
argue with that. I'm always fine tuning it.
You don't need that with a quadra toilet. They're set. They're good. They're done.
Those things are gold, man.
They are.
I had a customer who had two carburetors. He had his Smog carburetor and his daily carburetor. So every time it was Smog time, we had to put his leaned out carburetor on, run it on the dyno, pass his Smog, and then we put his daily driver carb back on so he could drive the car. Good old days.
I almost did that with my El Camino, but then I've got it registered on classic plates and in a county that doesn't have emissions, so it doesn't matter anymore.
That's right. Love it.
I did that on my Superbird.
Oh, let's see here. Travis says he's hearing rumors of 1,000 volts on the new hybrid Class 8s.
I've heard the same.
Now, admittedly, honest question from I've had an electrical fire, scary as can be. In the event that you take that much power to ground,
Nice light show,
man. So we've hit upon the safety side of things, but people still play bumper cars when they're not supposed to, and smack into each other. What's going to happen when we hit one of those wrong?
I think it's going to be like the old Pintos. You guys remember those, right?
I love this guy. I love this guy.
Yeah.
Don't hit one of those; they'll blow up.
Right, yep, exactly.
But once they start burning, they don't stop.
Yeah,
Yep.
they don't.
The Pinto or the electric?
I've been seeing some crazy stuff like when these Teslas just burst up in flames in a wrecking yard and stuff like that. So it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time. And one thing that kind of struck me out too is emergency personnel also need training on this stuff, because if they show up to a scene and you got a hybrid vehicle that was involved in an accident, they need to be able to cut those high voltage wires somehow and safely to be able to extract any victims from the vehicle, so the car is not just a giant 200 volt encased tomb. So safety is a big thing when it comes to high voltage. Absolutely.
That's the potential market we're going to have to look at. Safety for the emergency personnel.
Definitely, especially I think if you guys cover some of the basic OSHA requirements, it would be a really good hybrid safety class, because this way it could work for dealerships, it could work for independents, it could work for the cities, counties. So that would definitely be something you guys want to take a look at.
Hey, Marv, write that down.
Already have.
Good.
Love it.
No, there's
my
no
goodness.
reason not to put out stuff the guys don't want. We've got to go for that stuff. I mean, we got to be the leaders in it and take care of these guys. I remember the first hybrid class that I took, and you've all seen it. It's that big old orange hook, and no lie, that's to pull the guy off the car before he fries to death. I mean, it's scary stuff. You've got to know what you're doing. Somebody in there had said something about the runaways too. What was it he was saying? Battery terminal runaways is scary too. I mean, there's a lot of scary stuff. But again, if you are prepared and if you understand what you're doing and proceed with caution and don't have an ego or think you know it all, you're going to be okay. It's all about having everything lined up for you properly. It's a different world. It's a different world.
It really is. I was teaching GDI not too long ago, and I was telling my students, if you got a vehicle with the piezoelectric fuel injector, they need about 100 volts just to get the injector open. So if you're going to be testing that, you need to be wearing high voltage gloves, because at 100 volts, that thing zaps you, it could kill you. So safety. I'm in in a forum here in California for Smog Check, and somebody posted a picture of some mechanic somewhere had the bright idea of patching a hole on a high pressure gasoline direct injection pump with JB Weld. And when I saw that picture, I was dumbfounded because it's like, do you realize it takes 1,000 psi to cut human flesh? And a high pressure pump at idle can be 500 to 700 psi.
Yeah. Oh man.
So when I saw it, I was like, who's the retard who thought it was a good idea to put JB Weld on a high pressure fuel pump?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the problem, and that's where, again, a lot of us aren't happy about government regulations, but I'm telling you, some of the doofuses that are out there, the knuckle draggers that shouldn't be touching this, I mean, it's scary. There needs to be some sort of accountability for this stuff because, it's high tech and it's dangerous.
Yeah, Travis posted a link to EMS Safety doing CPR certification and stuff. Always a good thing to know, especially when we get more and more electrical stuff. I mean, our bodies are all run by electricity. You stop the heart, and you guys may have to keep someone alive before the grown-ups get there that really know their crap to keep them alive.
Yeah, no, it's
it's funny. A lot of people don't like. They think everything else is important but safety, but it's like gloves, I always teach, you're going to work on a car, you better be wearing gloves because the stuff we work with is nasty. And I'm not talking about like interior. I'm talking about you go and pull out some drums, and a lot of these guys just stand there and they take a big deep breath of all that brake dust, man. It's like, what are you thinking? Or another perfect example is how many of you guys own an anti-static bracelet? I always teach that you wear an anti-static bracelet when you're doing a fuel pump or when you're doing an evap test or when you're dealing with electronic components. If you discharge 2,000 volts of static electricity into an empty gas tank, that thing can blow up. So I always teach using an anti-static bracelet, so this way any static electricity within the body gets grounded back out to the car and not to the component. So little basic stuff like that can make a difference between you blowing up and being safe.
I haven't heard of one of those for probably a decade, Oscar. Wow.
Really?
Yeah, I remember that was a deal a while back too. It's funny how some of this stuff's coming back around, Yeah.
It's like a big one. I was doing evap. I was teaching evap with some of my students, and they all, when they saw me connect my evap machine to nitrogen, they're like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, it's an inert gas." And they're like, "Why don't you just use shop air?" I was like, "Okay, stop right there." I said, "Triangle fire. What do you need? Ignition source, oxygen, and fuel." I was like, "I got an empty gas tank, so I got fuel, ignition source. I just need to discharge some sort of static electricity into it." And now I got compressed shop air inside of that gas tank. I got everything I need to create a fire or an explosion. Well, this is why you're supposed to use nitrogen. And it's funny because most of these guys are like, "No, there's no way I could use shop air." I was like, "You could definitely use shop air. I'm not telling you not to. I'm just telling you to be safe and not to die, you want to use nitrogen so it doesn't blow up in your face." These little basic small safety things are where a lot of guys were never taught, or if they were taught, it just went right over their head because all they wanted to know is, what does that code mean and how do I fix that code? They're not really worried about the safety aspect until something happens.
Yeah, and not to mention shop air can inherently be static, electrically charged. I mean, you compress it, you're sending it through a line, as things blow across the surface, it can pick up a charge, discharge that, and, kablooey.
Yep.
Shop air also has condensate in it as well.
Moisture.
This is true.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's see. Apparently, Travis pointed me in the right direction. Apparently, EMS Safety Services, we're going to have to go look at them, offers a hybrid safety class. We'll have to go look at that.
Ah, interesting. Okay.
I'll have to go find. I'll poke around their site for a little bit and see what we can find.
I'm gonna.
Anyways, We are rolling up on the hour mark. Let's see here. Doing a
So
quick
I
look to see if
wanted
there's
to,
anything in the comments. Go ahead.
if it was okay with you guys, I wanted to share a little golden nugget
Go
that
for
I
it.
share with all my students and anybody who's willing to listen to me. Like I tell everybody, is learn from my mistakes so you guys don't do the same. And one thing that I learned from a lot of the better technicians than myself that have taught me a lot is always read up on new changing stuff. So I always recommend you guys purchase this handbook. This is the SAE Automotive Handbook by Society of Automotive Engineers and Bosch. This little handbook is a gold mine. If you're stuck on how an injector works, how an ignition coil works, just recently I was reading about the anti-theft system. So it basically breaks down any system within a vehicle. So this way you guys can understand it. The best part is it is written by engineers, but it's written in a way where you can understand what it means. So I'm a big believer in, if you know how the system works, you'll be able to diagnose it and repair it. If you don't, you're just guessing. So this tool right here is probably one of the better books, and it comes from Society of Automotive Engineers, SAE. So it's a great tool for anybody who wants to read up on new upcoming changes or new systems that are in play. Because a lot of times my students ask me, how do you know about this system? I read about it. You know, it's not like I just woke up one morning and was like, holy cow, I know what GDI is now. You know, I had to study it myself, and this is where I study it. So I like to share this book. If anybody wants to brush up or learn something new, that's going to be the book that you guys want to go to. Being that my three specialties are electrical, engine performance, and emissions, this handbook has been a gold mine for me. So I wanted to share that with you guys. So if anybody wants to pick that up, you can buy it directly from SAE. I think it's like $80, and a new 11th edition just came out, so you guys can get the updated version.
See, Marvin, Eric, engineers are contributors to the society.
We never said they weren't. It's just, keep in mind, I'm the machinist of the group. I have to build the crap that you engineer. I have to figure out how to put that stupid blind hole in there that nobody's ever going to need or get to.
And then I have to make it work after you build it.
Well, it'll always work because everything a machinist build works.
Oh, that's
Come at me, bro.
That's too funny. I love it. He got us. He tried. Well, that's cool. Great information, Oscar. Really appreciate
what book again
that.
was that? Can you hold that up, Oscar? That was the SAE,
the
Automotive Handbook.
Automotive Handbook.
10th edition.
The 10th edition's this one's technically old because the 11th edition just came out. So if somebody buys a new version, don't get on Amazon. It's more expensive. Get it directly from SAE.
Okay. It looks like you can get them. They're about $65 from SAE.org. The 10th edition is currently $65.
Cool.
So
there you go.
Amazon's about $120, or you can go back in time. Oh no, hold on, $56 for the 11th edition, new on Amazon.
Got to go with Amazon then. It was the other way around about 3 months ago when somebody asked me about it. So,
all right, guys, I'm dropping a link in that book. This is an affiliate link. If you click the link that I put in there, that'll take you to the 11th edition of the book. It would greatly help us out. I appreciate that because we do have an Amazon affiliate thing here, and
Sweet.
Every little bit helps in trying to keep this ship going in the right direction.
Absolutely.
So,
Awesome.
wow, 142 comments. I think that's a new record, by the way.
Well,
Nice.
Oscar, of course it would be.
Hey, thank you guys. That means a lot. I'm glad you guys were able to learn something, hopefully. And like I told my students, hopefully I didn't screw you guys up too bad.
No, we had fun. That was good. When your internet's working better or, forever out somewhere, we'll have to do some live stuff together. We'll do this again, guys. Oscar will be back. maybe if he does a show, he'll have us on his show, and we'll make it work.
Yeah, definitely,
Absolutely.
definitely.
So
That's
keep
the
that in
name of the
mind.
game.
Oh, Travis asked one final question. Do you like the motor age stuff?
For ASC training or Pete Meyer's training stuff?
Don't know.
I shouldn't be name dropping, huh?
Oh, there's plenty out there for all of us.
Drop the name.
ASE.
For ASC?
ASE, he said.
Yeah.
It's good. And what I usually I like the motor age stuff. I actually use those manuals for a while for some of my classes. They're not going to be test specific. So what I tell people is if you buy the motor age stuff, it's for you to learn how the system actually works, how to actually do the diagnostic process and all that fun stuff. It's not going to be geared towards, hey, if they give you this question, this is the possibility of some answers. It's more about learning it in general. If you want something test specific, then get the Delmar version. The Delmar version is going to be just 100 and 150 pages of just practice questions. That'll definitely help you get ready for the ASCs. What I usually do when it comes time to ASC is I just go take it without any study, as if it's a new subject I've never done before, just to go see where I'm at. And then once I fail it, because most of the time I fail them, I'll walk out and then I'll look over my test results, and then I'm gonna critique myself and okay, I'm weak in these areas within this subject. And then that's where I'm going to spend the most amount of time studying up for that particular area. And then I'll go retake the test once the new window or the 30 days are up, and then I'll go retake it. That's worked very well for me. Keep in mind, I was never that person that loved going to school. If I did go at all, I'd probably just go for lunch and then go home. So it's not like I can sit in front of a book and read it for 4 hours straight. So these are just some of the tips that I use. I did do an A6 ASC class with my students, and I recorded it. It's on YouTube if anyone wants to take a look. And if you guys look at the comments, there's a bunch of people all over the U.S. They're like, man, I passed my ASC thanks to the video. So if you guys want to take a look at that. And I made a goal to myself and to the industry that by the end of the year, I'm going to have all A series, including L1, on YouTube. So this way I can help out anybody who wants to get an ASC, go through kind of the training that I put myself through in order to go take my ASC. So
Awesome.
keep an eye out for those, and hopefully I should have those out for you guys pretty soon.
You heard it here. Make sure you go over to his channel, hit the like and subscribe if you haven't already. While you're at it, hit the like and subscribe on Mechanic Alliance too. So
Absolutely.
So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. We really appreciate having you guys here with us. We will end it off here at a little over the hour mark, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.
All right. Thanks,
See you
Oscar.
guys.